High school footballer Yoichi Isagi is determined to become a star, but after suffering a major defeat, his hopes of one day playing in the World Cup dwindle. That is, until out of nowhere, he's invited to Blue Lock, a facility created to find the greatest striker out of 300 of the country's top youth forwards. Isagi is fully committed to lead his soccer team to the nationals. During the final match in the qualifying tournament, his team is down 0-1, but Isagi finds an opportunity to score. Scared of messing up, he instead chooses to pass the ball to a better positioned teammate who unfortunately hits the post. This leads to a successful counterattack by the ace of the opposing team, Ryusuke Kira, ending the game with a score of 0-2. Disheartened, Isagi stands isolated amongst his team, questioning if he could have changed his fate by taking the shot himself. Later, on his way home, he sheds tears at his inability to become a soccer superstar like his idol, Noel Noah. That night, he receives a surprising letter from the Japan Football Union stating he has been selected as a certified athlete. Curious, he visits the designated address and encounters Kira, whom had also received an invitation. Inside, they discover a room filled with 300 young players, all forwards like themselves. Jinpachi Igo, the organizer of the program, addresses the group, explaining his intention to transform one of them into the world's best striker. Igo presents the Blue Lock facility, designed to create a striker that will lead Japan to victory in the World Cup. Here, the chosen players will undergo specialized training on the condition that they must leave their current teams and commit solely to this program. Some players, including Kira, expressed reluctance to abandon their teams at the upcoming nationals. Igo challenges their priorities, simply stating that becoming the best in Japan pales in comparison to becoming the best in the world. While they all stand in shock at Igo's outrageous statements, the man doubles down. His words strike a deep chord inside Isagi's heart, and before anyone else can move, he rushes for the door to Blue Lock. Following his example, despite some hesitation, all the other kids rush in as well. At the facility, Isagi enters a room with 11 other kids where they change into uniforms that display their individual rankings. Isagi is ranked 299th. And Igo explains their ranks can change based on performance at Blue Lock. In 6 months, the top 5 players will be sent to play for Japan in the Under-20 World Cup team as strikers, while every other player gets kicked out of the facility and will never be selected to play soccer for Japan ever again. Igo's first test involves a game of football tag, where the 300th rank Igarashi becomes the first it. A 136-second timer is started at the end of which whoever is it will be kicked out. The game begins and conflicts and injuries arise. Isagi is hit. Initially frantically runs to tag the lower-ranked Igarashi, but then comes to the realization that the only way for him to grow is to defeat someone stronger. With the help of Bashira, who is moved by Isagi's ambition, he lands a hit at the decisive last second on the highest-ranked contestant, Kira. In disbelief, Kira, unable to accept his future career with Japan had ended because of a simple game of tag, he lashes out at Igo. Unfazed, Igo explains the size of the room was the same size as the penalty area where the majority of goals are scored, and that 136 seconds is the average time a player spends on the ball in a proper match. His worst mistake, however, was completely giving up in the final second when an opportunity could still have been created. In a rage, Kira storms off. Igo congratulates all his team members on passing the admissions exam and places them all in Team Z. Team Z starts regularly training together, and Isagi notes he lags physically behind his teammates. In the cafeteria, different side dishes are served based on ranking, with high rankers receiving better food. Feeling inferior to the rest, Isagi struggles to sleep, realizing he must improve to avoid elimination. He later encounters Bashira, who invites him to train together. When Isagi questions what made Bashira help him against Kira, the enigmatic boy reveals he has a monster inside him, which talks to him while he plays, who told him that Isagi has a monster of his own within him. At first confused, Isagi realizes he didn't feel like himself when he kicked the ball at Kira, and that this could be the key to his survival at Blue Lock. With now 25 kids eliminated during the admissions test, the rankings are re-evaluated and Isagi finds himself still in the second-to-last position with the rank of 274. Ego appears on screen and explains the hierarchy within Blue Lock. 11 players form a team with a total of 25 teams represented with letters B to Z. As Team Z, they're ranked as the worst at Blue Lock, and as such receive the worst treatment. The 25 teams have been further split into 5 groups, with each group placed in a single building together. He then announces the start of the first selection, in which the 55 players in Building 5 will compete against one another. The top 2 teams, as well as the top scorers from the bottom 3 teams, will advance to the second selection. Meanwhile, at a Japan Football Union press conference, a new member of staff, Anri Tayari, passionately explains the rationale of Blue Lock to the press. She remains unfazed by the backlash from the media. Sai Itsushi, a world-class midfielder who happens to be passing by, hears her words and decides to cancel his flight to Spain in order to stay in the country and observe the talent which will emerge from the project. Team Z's first match in the competition is slated against Team X. The team gathered to discuss their formation for the match, where Isagi emerges as victor in a game of rock, paper, scissors, claiming the coveted position of forward. The match starts with Bashira passing the ball to Isagi, but while the ball is still at his feet, his own teammate Yoichi snatches it, declaring he only cares for personal glory. This display of selfishness infects the rest of the team as they abandon position, each craving possession of the ball. Not to be outdone, Team X also succumbed to internal strife, fighting amongst themselves for the chance to score. Chaos ensues, leaving Isagi perplexed and unsure of his next move. Amidst the pandemonium, Shui Baro of Team X, ranked 250th, breaks free with the ball and effortlessly evades Isagi with a remarkable heel kick. Baro gracefully bypasses the other defenders and delivers a decisive kick, leaving goalkeeper Eamon stunned and unable to react. Energized by his heroics, the players of Team X rally behind Baro, relinquishing individual glory to instead strive for victory as a unified force. The infighting within Team Z increases with the score deficit, and they succumb to pressure, unable to see the futility of their lack of teamwork. The end approaches when Team X secures their 5th goal, crushing Team Z decisively. As a final Hail Mary, Isagi runs deep into Team X's territory and receives a long pass from Bashira. His path is blocked by Baro, and although he initially plans on going toe-to-toe with him, something takes over, and he instinctively passes the ball to Kunigami, who manages to land a powerful long shot into the goal. Following the game, the fight over the central forward position persists with Team Z while Isagi sits alone, both confused and unhappy with his decision to pass instead of taking on Baro by himself. As they discuss their shortcomings, they realize that though Team X started off in the same state as them, Baro was able to use his talent to unite the team. Suddenly, Ego appears on screen, challenging them to do what Baro just did. Each individual must identify their own unique weapons as strikers, something they can hone to the point where the rest of the team is irresistibly forced to rally around them. Energized by this new direction, the team, apart from Isagi, who doesn't know, and Shigiri, who refuses to open up, share what each of them specialize in. To allow each striker the opportunity to hone respective weapons, they decide to play in a formation which rotates positions clockwise every 10 minutes. Letting everyone play as the center forward. They practice together based on this new team formation and slowly start to come together as Team Z. A week passes, and the date of the next match arrives. This time they face Team Y, who themselves were defeated 8-0 by Team V and are desperate for a win. They mark Team Y striker Okawa, well known for his incredible shooting, as the player to watch out for. Team Y starts the match off defensively, using a conservative approach to stifle Team Z's single striker strategy. This goes on for a while until Okawa suddenly starts running, surprising Team Z. Isagi realizes that Team Y drew them in to create space for Okawa, who scores. The team continue to rotate, but now they have the lead, Team Y becomes even more conservative, stifling Team Z and depleting stamina by maintaining possession through constant passing in their own half. Team Z start the second half aggressively and force an opportunity in the form of a corner kick. Isagi has an epiphany during the corner kick and intercepts a loose ball by marking Team Y's Nico, realizing he is the one who had been calling the shots the entire time. Isagi attempts to score, but is intercepted by Nico. Gagamaru, whose turn it was as forward, quickly reacts, redirecting the ball into the goal. With the realization that Nico is the key to Team Y's strategy, Isagi becomes determined to shut him down and secure victory. Nico acknowledges Isagi's perceptive abilities, stating they both have the same eyes, but asserts that he still controls the outcome of this game. Although he manages to physically stifle Nico, Nico discloses his weapons are his keen eyes and exceptional strategic mind, which he uses to accurately perceive field dynamics and coordinate his team. Isagi may try to impede him, but he can't stop Nico's innovative ideas. With but a single minute left on the clock, Nico declares it's time to employ the last-ditch tactic, a full-team counterattack initiated by Okawa. Team Z desperately strive to halt the advance, but overcommitted to the offensive, they find themselves caught off guard. The ball ends up at Nico's feet, becoming a one-on-one against the goaltender Eamon. However, instead of taking the shot, Nico passes the ball to Okawa. The entire Team Z senses their impending doom, but Isagi, ever perceptive, intercepts the pass, asserting his particular spot has the unmistakable scent of a goal. Isagi reveals that because of their similarity, he knew Nico would opt to pass to Okawa instead of delivering the decisive blow. Isagi immediately initiates a counterattack, passing the ball to Kunigami, who swiftly transfers it to Bashira. After bypassing two opponents, Bashira delivers a precise pass into the penalty area. Isagi, who ran all the way over from the other side, seizes the opportunity and unleashes a shot, which finds the back of the net and secures a 2-for-1 victory for Team Z. The team erupt in jubilation. But Isagi silently heads towards Nico. Despite the joy he was experiencing, witnessing his opponents in tears made him contemplate the crushing blow he had just dealt to their dreams. With their 2 goals, Team Z accumulates 2 points, which they exchange for 2 steaks and share amongst each other in a celebratory feast. The team marvel at Isagi's ability to anticipate the ball's trajectory. Isagi explains that he didn't foresee it, but he sensed that if he were to get a pass, he should be in precisely that position. Kunigami proposes that Isagi's weapon may be his uncanny ability to smell a goal. Unable to sleep, Isagi ventures into the monitor room where he discovers Shigiri. Shigiri admits that he too had a hard time sleeping, so he came to rewatch Isagi's goal, where he commends Isagi's exceptional spatial awareness. He points out that Isagi possesses a unique ability to perceive the entire field in its unfolding events. Although Isagi currently employs this skill instinctively, Shigiri assures him he can learn to harness and control it intentionally. Grateful for the insight, Isagi expresses a desire to know more about him. Though reluctant, eventually Shigiri reveals a painful truth. He suffered a near-career-ending ACL tear in his right knee a year prior. While he has healed, he lives in constant fear of re-injury, no longer being able to feel the high he got from playing soccer to his heart's content. But witnessing Isagi's goal might be just what he needed to convince him that his time as a footballer was truly done. Isagi asserts that this is a lie, and is convinced that Shigiri does not truly want to give up. Though he tries to persuade him, Shigiri walks away, declaring Isagi knows nothing about him. During their training, Isagi grapples with the feeling of lagging behind his teammates and resolves not to be content with a single lucky goal. While he rests, Ego shows up to announce the current status of the first selection tournament. Apart from Team V, who've decisively beaten all opponents, every other team currently sits at 1 win and 1 loss. Ego proclaims he intends to adjust every player's ranking based on their performance as strikers. With that new criterion in mind, the highest ranking position in Team Z switches over to one of the weakest players in the team, Isagi. Fired up from this promotion, Isagi begins training with extra vigor, which forces the others to push themselves as well, unable to stand by while Isagi overtakes them. For their next match against Team W, they adopt a new strategy which is proposed by Quan. Reflecting on their previous game where their rotational tactics fell short, Kwon suggests deploying a compatible trio up front, rotating position every 30 minutes. Team W's top players, the Wanima brothers, ranked 232nd and 233rd, are identified as the players to mark and disrupt, as together the two were able to defeat Baro's Team X. The 7th match begins, and despite best efforts, the Wanima brothers use their formidable combination play to easily navigate past Team Z's defenders Isagi and Shigiri. They find themselves in the central defense, and the brothers, recognizing Shigiri as their former teammate, calling him a glass player, remark that his time is long over. Undeterred, Isagi tackles them and successfully seizes the ball, leaving the brothers bewildered. Isagi encourages Shigiri not to pay heed to their disparaging comments, reminding him that his past achievements do not define him. As Team Z launches a swift counterattack, the ball finds its way back to Kwon, who masterfully scores with a powerful header. The Wanima brothers restart from center and in their distraction allow Kunigami to intercept the ball, which once again makes its way over to Kwon, who shoots from outside the penalty and secures a second goal. Frustrated by this turn of events, the older brother, Junichi, commits a foul. Bashira uses the free kick to aim a high pass toward Kwon, who completes the hat trick with another impressive header. The first half concludes with Team Z taking a commanding 3-0 lead. The second half kicks off, and Junichi intensifies his pressure on Raichi, leading him to pass the ball to Kwon. In a moment of distraction, Kwon loses the ball, resulting in a goal for Team W. When the match restarts, Kwon underhits a pass to Isagi. Junichi intercepts and proceeds to feed Keisuke for a second goal. Raichi lashes out at Kwon, who apologizes for his mistakes. The team manages to calm Raichi down, but their slim lead raises the question as to whether Team Z should prioritize attacking or defending. While the rest are distracted, Isagi notices a split-second sly smile on Kwon's face. He quickly dismisses this as his imagination and tries to get back into the game. But after another mistake from Kwon leading to the scores being equalized, he confronts Kwon openly. The Wanima brothers confirm Isagi's suspicions, revealing Kwon had clandestinely provided Team W with Team Z's strategy, strengths, and weaknesses. Kwon confesses to striking a deal with Team W, offering them vital info and a victory in exchange for scoring 3 goals himself. By securing the position of top scorer among the eliminated teams, Kwon aims to advance individually. He asserts that bonds and teamwork are unnecessary and that ego alone is the key to victory. Team W, now with Kwon's unbridled assistance, seize the advantage and score another goal, snatching the lead from Team Z. With 15 minutes left on the clock and their team down a player, Team Z faces an uphill battle to equalize the game. Eamon manages to deflect a shot, causing it to hit the post. He rallies his teammates to seize the ball and score, even as a draw will keep them in the tournament. Shigiri moves towards the ball, but finds himself outmaneuvered by Keisuke, who taunts him before rushing off. Angered by the insult, Shigiri recalls the day he joined his high school soccer club, which is where he first encountered the Wanima brothers, his seniors, and the team's self-proclaimed stars. Rejecting their proposed hierarchy, Shigiri defeated them effortlessly in a 2-on-1 match. Recognizing his talent, the coach appointed Shigiri as the team's forward. Thanks to his speed, their team starts winning game after game after game. However, in one unfortunate match, Shigiri suffered a right ACL tear. Ooh, ouch. Mocked by the Wanima brothers upon his return from rehabilitation, Shigiri's confidence wavered. He started to fear losing his identity and slowly began searching for excuses to just give up. The game nears its end, and Shigiri, resigned to ending his footballing career, begins to relax. However, he hears Isagi's urging voice reminding him to keep going. Although Team Z manages to gain possession, Team W tightens their defense, leaving Isagi unable to pass to his teammates. With 3 minutes of additional time left, Isagi tries to break free, dribbling past Kwon and Keisuke, but is tackled by Junichi. Though he loses the ball, Isagi runs back again with determination. Observing Isagi's unwavering belief in himself, Shigiri can't help but see a reflection of his younger self. He questions his fears. and realizes the thing he truly fears is losing the rush he feels when giving his all on the field. Overwhelmed by Isagi's infectious spirit, Shigeri abandons his doubts, fully embracing the moment as he runs, proclaiming himself the best striker. Isagi, suddenly sensing the presence of a goal on the opposite touchline, spots Shigeri sprinting forward. He hits a cross, seemingly aimed at empty space, much to Team W's delight. But to their astonishment, Shigeri races past Kwon, seizing the ball. With unmatched speed, Shigeri passes the ball to an area of 3 defenders and then catches up to his own pass, effortlessly eluding Team W and scoring, securing a thrilling 4-4 tie. While Team Z erupts in jubilation, Team W blames Kwon for concealing Shigeri's leg condition and, despite protests of innocence, start beating him. The confrontation is diffused by Isagi and Kunigami, while Kwon runs away. As they walk back to their room to discuss their final must-win match with the currently undefeated Team V, they chance upon Kwon engaged in conversation with Ryo, Nagi, and Tsurugi from Team V, offering them a deal akin to the one he gave Team W. He's quickly declined by the uninterested trio. Before they leave, Nagi states that if he were as weak as Kwon, he would rather just quit football. Isagi, making his presence known, cautions Nagi not to belittle soccer. Introducing himself, Isagi boldly declares his intention to triumph over Team V. In the meeting room, Team Z gathers to discuss strategy. Heeman pulls up the formidable trio of players from Team V, Ryo with 6 goals, Tsurugi with 5 goals, and Nagi with an impressive 7 goals, and emphasizes that failure to stop these 3 will result in their own defeat. Tensions overflow as Kwon declares his refusal to play, confident Team V will win and he will advance as Team Z's top scorer. Bashira questions what happens if 2 players score an equal number of goals, which causes ego to appear. He informs them that if 2 players have equal scores and an equal number of fouls, the higher-ranked player is prioritized, with Kwon currently highest ranked in Team Z. However, he dismisses Kwon, calling him a subpar striker. A great goal can be scored by luck, but true skill lies in reproducing it consistently. He urges them all to develop a formula for producing consistent goals. The next day, Team Z finalized their formation and tactics. Given Team V's formidable offense, they decide to start off defensively with a focus on counterattacks. The match kicks off, and Team Z follow the strategy they had devised after studying Team V extensively. Ryo serves as catalyst for the attacks, but Isagi and Bashira successfully block him. Forced to act, Ryo passes to Tsurugi, who typically scores from a tight angle on the right. However, Raichi and Imamura expertly close off the route. With limited options, Tsurugi passes to Nagi, but Igarashi seizes the opportunity, intercepting the ball. Team Z launches swift counterattack, with Bashira delivering a superb long pass to Gagamaru, who hits a dividing hitter that finds the post. Inspired by Team Z, Ryo decides to replicate the move and hits a long pass to Nagi. Nagi jumps, skillfully controlling the ball in midair, and shoots, scoring effortlessly. As Team Z looks on in shock, Nagi wonders why they struggled with something so easy. Team Z attempts to regroup and initiate an offensive. Kunigami positions himself for a shot but is thwarted in turn by Ryo. Ryo thus swiftly delivers another long pass to Nagi, who skillfully taps it into the air before scoring a second goal with a bicycle kick. Resetting from the center, Isagi hits a long pass to Shigeri but is taken aback as Tsurugi matches Shigeri's speed, intercepting the ball. Tsurugi passes to Ryo, prompting defense to converge on Nagi. Ryo sends the ball to Tsurugi instead, who easily scores, expanding their lead to 3-0. Despair sets into every member of Team Z. Everyone, that is, except for Bashira, who is instead invigorated by the trio's exceptional display. He declares if the opponent is extraordinary, they must surpass their own limits, and goes one-on-one with Ryo, executing lightning-fast stepovers and a roulette to outmaneuver him. Tsurugi catches up, but Bashira deftly feints a lob before performing an air elastico, bypassing Tsurugi. He expertly dribbles past the final 3 defenders and scores with a Rabona. Energized by Bashira's heroics, Team Z gets back into the game. Isagi instructs Yoichi to mark Ryo and asks Shigiri and Gagamaru to cover the resulting gaps. With no other choice, Ryo passes to Tsurugi and Shigiri gives chase. Despite Tsurugi outpacing Shigiri, the latter manages to keep up and disrupts the ball's trajectory as Tsurugi attempts a pass. Nagi still gains possession, but strikes the ball directly into Igarashi's face. The ball ricochets and lands at Bashira's feet, who promptly passes it off to Kunigami. The pressure intensifies from the opposing team. Kunigami ponders options, given that he's still outside the optimal 28-meter shooting range. Isagi shouts encouragement, urging him to take the shot. Kunigami frees himself from the defenders and, understanding the need to evolve, unleashes a powerful technical shot. Initially heading straight down the middle, the ball wobbles before impact, slightly altering the trajectory and eluding the goalkeeper's grasp, bringing the full score to 3-2. The second half begins and Kunigami notices Team V pressuring him quicker. Recognizing futility of attempting longer shots, he passes to Bashira, forwarding it in turn to Gagamaru. Gagamaru tries to score with a scorpion kick, but the ball is deflected by Tsurugi. Isagi gains possession but is swiftly blocked and loses the ball. Frustrated by the inability to take the shot, Isagi hunts for a way to involve himself. At that moment, Nagi berates him, calling him inefficient and emphasizing if he had so little talent, he would have quit football already. Isagi tells him to hold his tongue as the exciting part is just about to unfold. The ball ends up with Shigiri, who confronts Tsurugi. Recalling previous touch on Tsurugi's pass, Shigiri suddenly has a realization and hits the ball into an empty space. Tsurugi rushes for it, but surprisingly Shigiri starts to outpace him, revealing that while Tsurugi is more explosive, Shigiri is faster at long distances. He reaches the ball first and scores, ultimately leveling the game. Kwon is shocked, in which Team Z, with only 10 players, manages to equalize the game against Team V and begins to wonder if they can actually win. A furious Ryo takes possession but is thwarted again by Yoichi. Unable to identify any openings, he starts to panic. Alarmed by Ryo's expression, Nagi goes up to him and requests the ball, surprising everyone with his newfound initiative. In a mad rush, Nagi evades Igarashi and passes the ball to Tsurugi on the wing. Nagi requests a pass into the penalty area from Tsurugi for the first time, surprising him. Nagi himself questions this new drive, wondering if it stems from Ryo's expression or from seeing the people he found boring suddenly looking cool. Regardless, he concludes that his curiosity cannot be quelled. Despite the narrow angle, Nagi deftly turns and scores. Team Z strategize on how to halt Nagi's progress by bolstering defenses, but Yoichi vehemently opposes the idea, insisting on maintaining an aggressive approach, emphasizing that defense has no purpose if they fail to score within the next 15 minutes. Despite his distaste for playing as defender, Yoichi acknowledges that their success thus far was as a result of their current formation. He rallies the team, urging them to unleash an all-out assault, reminding him that they are all strikers. The game resumes with Shigiri hitting another long pass to himself. Nagi, anticipating this, positions himself to intercept. Before he can get the ball, Isagi, having read the field too, appears and takes possession. He forwards it to Shigiri, who shoots but hits the post. Gagamaru hits the rebound ball, but Ryo manages to save the goal. The ball flies over, landing before Kunigami, who manages to score. Isagi realizes he managed to predict this entire series of events. A simulation materialized in his mind, allowing him to recognize a weak point in the field that, when he occupied, allowed his team to maintain possession and unleash a relentless wave of attacks. His weapon allowed him to simulate everyone's abilities and anticipate. His eyes and brain enabled him to foresee the field's future. Kwon acknowledges that both teams, Z and V, stand a chance at victory, with the next goal deciding the ultimate winner. His mind goes back to his high school days when, constantly being let down by his teammates, he came to the realization that the only person he could trust to take him to the top was himself. Tsurugi sends a long pass to Nagi, who manages to redirect the ball and pull away from Isagi. Just as Nagi's about to shoot, Kwon charges forward and fouls him, receiving a red card in turn. Confused, Team Z question why Kwon risked his place unnecessarily, to which he simply replies that he did it for himself. But now that he has, they need to win on his behalf.
絶対勝てよ。
With 3 minutes left on the clock, Ryo takes a free kick. Instead of passing, he decides to take the shot, but Emond leaps to make a remarkable save. Isagi orchestrates a swift counterattack and through a series of clever plays arrives at the penalty area. Facing the final two defenders, he passes to Kunigami, but the ball is intercepted by Tsurugi, who sends it soaring for the sideline. At the last second, Yoichi intercepts and passes to Bashira, passionately urging the team to score. Analyzing everyone's position, Isagi moves himself slightly to the side. Confident in Bashira, Isagi awaits. The pass arrives, but so does Nagi, rushing in from behind. Wishing to score on his own, but with no space to maneuver, Isagi realizes his prowess lies in his direct shot, a vital component of his scoring formula. Rather than attempting to control the ball, Isagi chooses to shoot with first touch. The goalkeeper is unable to stop it, and Isagi triumphantly scores, propelling them to a 5-4 lead. The final whistle blows, and Team Z emerges victorious. Kunigami extends an invitation to Quan to celebrate their triumph together. Though Yoichi initially protests, he begrudgingly acknowledges Quan was instrumental in securing victory, and after a punch to make things even, invites him to join their celebration. Both teams, V and Z, retain full lineup of 11 players. Initially, Junichi Wanima from Team W, Iki Niko from Team Y, and Shuibaro from Team X's top scorers also advanced to Building 5's second selection. After another 10 days of physical conditioning, the players gather in the central basement area of the building for the second selection. Excited, they arrive only to notice something strange in the appearance of those from the other buildings. Suddenly, Ego appears on screen, revealing a startling truth. There was no building other than Building 5 within Blue Lock. Every player was led to believe they were the bottom of the hierarchy to shatter confidence and ignite desperation in order to become the best. With that said, Ego announces the start of the second selection. Clearing it will grant them the opportunity to partake in a training camp alongside a select group of international elite players. He informs them that the test will consist of 5 stages, each stage needing to be cleared in order to progress to the next one. Once ready, they are asked to pass through a door individually. A young man launches a ball high with a graceful arc, hitting another ball with a spin which connects with the first ball mid-air. Declaring his warm-up complete, he walks through the door. The name Rin Itoshi appears, and they all realize he's the brother of Sai Itoshi, one of the world's greatest midfielders. Excited, Isagi steps forward and passes through the door. Arriving at an enclosed space, Isagi is greeted by a ball and a holographic projection called a Blue Lock man standing in front of a goal projection. Isagi shoots, but the goal is easily blocked. A timer emerges, granting him 90 minutes to complete the first stage by securing 100 goals. A new ball appears from a different location along with different positions from the goalkeeper. Eagerly embracing the training, he starts scoring goal after goal, relishing the opportunity to refine his shooting. After 30 goals, 3 holographic defenders are introduced to spice things up, and after 60, these defenders become dynamic. The ball shot at Isagi also starts arriving with a spin. Despite his impeccable spatial awareness and positioning, his direct shots fail, exposing a technical deficiency. After some experimentation, Isagi discovers that he can improve his accuracy by using less power and focusing more on the point of impact. This adjustment enables him to score, filling him with excitement as he uncovers new facets of his abilities. He eventually scores 100 goals, successfully clearing first stage. For the second stage, Isagi enters a room with a few other kids and a message prompts them to form teams of 3 and head forward. Bashira arrives, and the two wait for a third member. Suddenly, Nagi approaches Isagi and invites him to join him in Rio. Isagi declines, stating his intention to team up with Bashira. In response, Nagi requests to join Isagi's team. Rio, taken aback, questions Nagi, who expresses a desire to learn and become stronger.
でも俺たちは負けた。初めて感じた。この悔しさってやつの正体を知るために。
Bashira asks Isagi for his decision, and driven by his own desire to play with Nagi, Isagi agrees. The newly formed trio enter the room where they encounter 3 others, one of whom is Rin. Ego again appears on a screen, explaining the third stage involves a 3 versus 3 battle. The first team to score 5 goals wins, picks a member from the losing team, then plays 4 versus 4 against other winners, while the losing team heads down for a 2 versus 2. This process continues until the team wins a 5 versus 5 match and clears second selection. If a team loses a 2 versus 2, the player that isn't picked gets kicked out. He also updates everyone's rankings to aid them in selecting opponents. Isagi is ranked 15, Nagi 7, and Mashira 16. Isagi looks over at the third-ranked Tokimitsu and second-ranked Ryu, who suggests targeting teams ranked 4th, 5th, and 6th, as defeating someone like Isagi would not be beautiful. The first-ranked Rin snaps at Ryu, calling him and all of Blue Lock mere stepping stones for him to join the Under 20 national team and surpass his brother. Isagi approaches Rin, stating that if Rin doesn't mind whom he plays against, Isagi desires to face him. Rin's team accepts Isagi's challenge, and the game begins with Isagi's Team White launching a swift attack, resulting in a goal after a series of rapid passes. While the trio are busy celebrating, a bored Rin openly bemoans the lackluster competition that surrounds them. As the whistle blows, Rin kicks a brilliant direct shoot from the center that finds the back of the net. The game resumes, and Isagi's team relentlessly presses forward. Bashira again passes to Nagi, but this time Ryu intercepts the ball with a well-timed header, redirecting it. The ball ends up with Isagi, who tries to shield it, yet Ryu, with his remarkable reach, manages to surprise Isagi by kicking the ball from behind Isagi and scoring. Team White restarts, this time with Bashira opting to dribble downfield. Tokimitsu charges towards Bashira and is seemingly effortlessly eluded. But Tokimitsu recovers with incredible swiftness, catching up and snatching the ball away. Isagi attempts to impede Tokimitsu's progress in a bid to commit a foul and prevent a goal. However, Isagi finds himself astounded and sprawled on the ground as Tokimitsu remains unaffected, showcasing immense power. Isagi, taken aback by the significant disparity despite his team's cohesion, Nagi, on the other hand, is fired up by the existence of such exceptional players and snaps Isagi out of his despondency by telling him he'll be the one to show him something interesting next. The game restarts yet again, and Team White adopt a triangular formation with a 15-meter radius with the goal of turning their individual confrontations into 3-on-3 encounters. Bashira sends a pass to Nagi but puts a spin on the ball, challenging Nagi's skills. Nagi manages to redirect the ball, eluding Ryu's defense and successfully scoring. Team Red gains possession once more, prompting Rin to take another shot from the kickoff. Isagi anticipates this and skillfully heads the ball out of play. But this effort is seemingly for nothing as Rin proceeds to score directly from the corner. Undeterred, Team White persists with their triangular attack, passing among themselves in search of an opening. Isagi spots a gap behind Rin and dashes, calling for a pass into open space. But Rin immediately catches up and mockingly tells Isagi to study how the human eye works. Isagi, perplexed by Rin's sudden presence, deduces Rin is somehow reading his vision. Rin seizes the ball and effortlessly evades defense, concluding his display of skill with another goal, finishing the match. The victorious Team Red selects Bashira as their fourth member, as his exceptional passes will amplify their collective strength. Although Bashira expresses disappointment in parting ways with Isagi's team, he encourages Isagi to pursue him if he wishes to reclaim his partnership. Both Isagi and Nagi end up in the second stage room, waiting for other two-man teams to show up, since another loss would be the end. Isagi proclaims that if they lose, the opposing team will certainly pick Nagi. Angered by Isagi's negative attitude, Nagi grabs him by the hair and tells him to get his act together. As they argue, Nagi realizes that since the second selection takes place on a smaller field with fewer players, individual skills have a bigger influence. Nagi guesses that this is what they're being tested on. Isagi realizes that the key to surviving second selection is winning 1-on-1. Moments later, Shui Baro joins their room. Nagi, surprised to see Baro there, challenges him to a match. Isagi, however, unsure they can beat Baro, tries to intervene, when Naruhaya, who is Baro's teammate, arrives and informs them that the rules state you need to wait for 24 hours before choosing your next match. The next day, as Isagi is in the middle of training, Naruhaya approaches and asks if he's picked a team to play against yet. Both Isagi and Naruhaya understand that while they could easily win against a weaker team to pass the second selection, they need strong teammates. Since Isagi wants Baro for his team and Naruhaya wants Nagi, they both decide to put their dreams on the line and challenge each other. The four gather the next day for the match, with Isagi and Nagi starting with the ball. Nagi faces Baro, who easily takes the ball from him, and to Isagi's surprise, shoots and scores. Isagi restarts with the ball and goes against Naruhaya, who persistently blocks him. Nagi calls Isagi to pass the ball into open area. Both Baro and Nagi run to the ball, but Nagi demonstrates his combined evolution by redirecting the ball with his first touch. Baro tries to grab the ball, but Nagi redirects it again, leaving Baro behind, and scores. Baro then takes the ball, but loses possession due to his refusal to pass, resulting in yet another goal, much to his frustration. Angry, Baro decides to take a shot directly from midfield. The ball is kept out by the goalkeeper, but Naruhaya manages to reach the loose ball and passes to Baro, who scores. The match resumes with Isagi trying to pass to Nagi, but it would be Naruhaya who intercepts and the ball ends up at Baro's feet. Baro charges and Isagi prepares to stop him, but to his surprise, Baro passes the ball to Naruhaya. As he runs forward, Baro calls for a pass back, but this time Naruhaya refuses and shoots, wishing to score himself. The ball, however, is saved by the goalkeeper, and though Isagi and Nagi try, Baro reaches the rebound ball faster and scores, taking a 3-for-2 lead. Isagi realizes that while Naruhaya is able to get behind the defense, he lacks shooting ability. Meanwhile, Isagi is the opposite. He can score, but can't get behind the defense. So, whoever overcomes their limitations first wins the game. With the ball now back with their team, Nagi manages to score again, leveling the score overall. Baro takes another shot from center, but Nagi manages to return and block it. Isagi then rushes to the ball, but Naruhaya rushes out from his blind spot and takes it from him. Naruhaya prepares to take a shot, but he panics when Nagi steps in front of him and passes to Baro instead to make the score, bringing Team Red one goal away from victory. Isagi realizes the key to Naruhaya's success is in getting behind the defense by always positioning himself in the blind spot. He begins to recognize that Rin did something similar to this in his last match and realizes that you aren't just playing 1-for-1 when you have the ball. There's also an off-the-ball one-on-one component to the game. While he breaks all this down and rebuilds his style of play with this new formation, Nagi scores once again, bringing the score to an even 4-4. With but one goal away from the final result, Team Red start the game. Nagi stands on the goalpost to prevent Baro from taking a direct shot. Staunchly refusing to pass, Baro decides to shoot again, this time curving the ball to the side opposite Nagi. The ball hits the top post and bounces off. Naruhaya rushes for the ball while being boxed in by both defenders. Baro calls for a pass, but Naruhaya once again decides to take the shot himself. The ball hits the post, and Nagi takes possession. Isagi runs for the goal while Baro covers him. Isagi notes that he was neglecting the eyes of those off the ball. Baro needs to observe both Isagi and Nagi's movement, which is impossible to do at the same time. So, Isagi waits for his window of opportunity and enters Baro's blind spot. Nagi sees Isagi free himself of Baro, shooting a pass. Naruhaya recognizes that Isagi has stolen his ability. Isagi then takes a direct shot and scores, winning them the game. Naruhaya falls to his knees and shouts in frustration. Isagi tries to soothe him by calling it a close game, but Naruhaya disagrees and states that he believed both he and Isagi were the same. But with this loss, he has realized that Isagi is a genius in his own way, a genius of adaptability. Isagi picks Baro as his third teammate, and as they leave, Naruhaya tells Isagi to keep winning until the day he dies. Sometime later, after a hard day of training, Isagi goes to take a bath and ends up meeting Kunigami. Shigiri also shows up, revealing he teamed up with both Kunigami and Ryo. Both Shigiri and Kunigami jokingly badger Isagi for not waiting for them. Isagi explains that he had intended to, but Nagi asked to join his team. They turn to see Nagi floating in the bath behind them and agree that they probably would have made the same decision. Shigiri wonders who Isagi will play next, but Isagi states they haven't decided and asks them the same question. Before Shigiri can respond, however, Ryo appears, stating they're obviously playing against Isagi's team. Nagi is happy to see Ryo and tries to start up a conversation, but Ryo stops him, stating they're enemies now. Shigiri and Kunigami also confirm they want to play against them, and Isagi agrees. The game begins, and Baro gets the ball with Kunigami covering him. Isagi realizes Kunigami is only getting close to Baro when he dribbles towards his shooting zone, and gives him space when he moves in the other direction. Isagi asks for the pass, but Baro refuses. Team Red counterattacks and passing it to Shigiri. Nagi manages to catch up as Shigiri had to slow down to receive the ball, but after that split second Shigiri speeds up again, leaving Nagi behind and easily scoring. Isagi utilizes his newfound abilities to create a perfect opportunity to score. However, despite finding himself unmarked in front of the goal, his efforts are ignored by Baro, who stubbornly refuses to pass. Kunigami as a result steals the ball and scores, extending their lead. Isagi observes Baro and realizes no matter what pass he gives him, it won't result in a goal. Simultaneously, he looks at Nagi and recognizes the immense potential for scoring opportunities through his off-the-ball movements. He passes to Nagi, who heads toward the ball along with Shigiri, acknowledging that while he can't match Shigiri's speed, Shigiri also can change directions at full speed. Using his newly developed first-touch redirection, Nagi maneuvers the ball behind Shigiri and scores. The game resumes, and using Ryo as the core, Team Red elegantly pass the ball amongst each other as they rip through Team White's defense and score once again. Isagi considers whether to give up on Baro completely, but decides that it would ultimately be a losing strategy. Isagi comes to the conclusion that he needs to do more than simply try to fit into Baro's style. He must devour it himself. With the defense focused on Nagi, Isagi takes advantage of the formation and dribbles toward Baro, surprising the red team and forcing Kunigami to cover Baro. With a gap created, Isagi turns, passing to Nagi. Shigiri and Ryo run to cover Nagi, forcing him to a standstill. Meanwhile, Baro runs forward with Kunigami in tow, hoping to receive the ball. Nagi realizes that while everyone's attention is focused on Nagi and Baro, Isagi is waiting in everyone's blind spot. He passes him the ball as Red Team realizes the entire maneuver was aimed at getting Isagi into scoring position. Isagi successfully scores, and Baro confronts Isagi for using him as a decoy. Isagi derisively insults Baro, mirroring Baro's own style, and urges him to continue playing without hindering their progress, which both shocks and infuriates Baro. The game picks up again with a cautious Red Team now wary of Isagi. Ryo employs the link-up play again, passing to Shigiri, who passes then to Kunigami. Baro fights to retrieve the ball, determined to take matters into his own hands. He then successfully takes possession, initiating a counterattack in the process. Nagi requests the pass, but Baro refuses again. Ryo comes to Kunigami's aid, and together they manage to retrieve the ball from Baro alike. Unexpectedly, the ball ends up with Isagi, leaving Ryo and Kunigami to wonder if Isagi intentionally took the position, anticipating what can occur when Baro regains possession. Shigiri charges towards Isagi, who simply passes to Nagi, equalizing the game at an even 3-for-3. Shigiri acknowledges that if they continue relying on usual strategies, Isagi will predict and thwart their every move. As Ryo passes the ball to Shigiri, he acknowledges that his weakness lies in the moment he receives the ball, which slows him down and provides an opportunity for Nagi to block him. To circumvent this, Shigiri propels the ball forward with his first touch, maintaining momentum without stopping. He outpaces Nagi, leaps over Baro, and scores. Now precisely one goal away from losing, both Isagi and Nagi strategize the final move, but their meeting is disrupted when Baro suddenly takes possession, shooting from the midfield. The ball hits the post and Kunigami gains possession before passing to Ryo. A chaotic scramble leads to Baro getting another chance, and he faces the dilemma of whether to shoot or not. In a critical moment, Isagi appears before Baro demanding a pass with a stern look on his face. Baro almost instinctively passes on Isagi, who then scores. Isagi commends Baro on the pass and tells him to keep it up. Baro, overcome by despair, realizes Isagi forcefully drew the pass out of it. At that moment, he recognizes his defeat to Isagi. The game resumes with Nagi assigned to cover Shigiri. Isagi blocks Ryo while obstructing passing opportunities to Shigiri, acknowledging him as their most dangerous player. Ryo contemplates the next move and decides to draw Isagi toward him. He veers to the right, prompting Shigiri to shift forward towards the center. Sensing an opening, Ryo passes, but Nagi surprises everyone by sprinting directly at the ball. Since he could not outrun Shigiri, he decides to intercept the pass instead. Isagi commends Ryo on the well-executed pass, explaining that they were anticipating that exact play. Ryo is astounded by the risky gamble they took, as failure to reach the ball would result in Shigiri scoring. Fortunately, Nagi manages to reach the ball, stops it, then passes it to Baro. Slowly coming to terms with his impending defeat, Baro notices that the field gleams with Isagi and Nagi's goal-scoring potential. With him now assuming a supporting role, he can make the crucial pass which could lead them to victory. However, he realizes that entrusting this goal to them might secure today's victory, but at the cost of his own dreams. Rejecting such a future, Baro decides to withhold the pass. Employing chop feints and acute angle dribbling, using his own teammates as a decoy, he slips past Kunigami, Ryo, and Shigiri in a show of extreme force, scoring the winning match. As a result, Nagi welcomes the return of the king. Isagi is about to extend his hand for a high five, but Baro grabs him and tells him to take back his derogatory remarks. Isagi apologizes and expresses admiration for Baro's incredible skill. Nagi playfully jumps onto them, causing them all to fall. Baro declares that he will never lose to Isagi again. As Team Red stew over the loss, Team White gather together to decide who will join their ranks. Baro presents a case for recruiting Kunigami, while Nagi argues in favor of Ryo. Isagi acknowledges them both as solid choices, but emphasizes their need for a player who can devour them and bring about an unexpected chemical reaction. Baro and Nagi agree and point out the one player from the opposing team that managed to both keep up with them and evolve, leading them to draft Shigiri. Nagi attempts to engage Ryo in a conversation, but Ryo accuses him of betraying their friendship. In return, Nagi asks Ryo if he thought his performance merited selection, emphasizing that achieving greatness requires significant effort, something Ryo appears to have forgotten. Disappointed in Ryo, Nagi walks away. Meanwhile, Bashira trains with Rin, but his dribbling proves inadequate, and he quickly loses the ball. Unimpressed with Bashira's skills, Rin tells him that his intuition-based dribbling is half-hearted and will never be good enough to beat him. Despite Bashira's appearing to have fun while dribbling on the field, he seems afraid of challenging someone on his own, always looking to make a pass. Now curious for Rin's insight, Bashira tells him that when he plays soccer, he sees a monster on the field, an imaginary friend that is always in a position to receive the most difficult of passes and play soccer at the highest level. He explains he came to Blue Lock to find a real person he could play like this monster. Rin mocks Bashira's fixation as being childish, and the reason his soccer is half-baked. He tells Bashira to keep playing with his imaginary friend while Rin becomes the best in the world. As they leave the training room, they find Isagi waiting outside, who tells Bashira that he came to fulfill his promise and challenges Rin to a rematch. Finally, both teams arrive on the field and the match begins. Bashira tries to dribble past Isagi only to find him surprisingly difficult to shake off, thanks to his newly developed off-the-ball awareness. Left with but no choice, Bashira sends a pass to Tokimitsu, but the ball is intercepted by Isagi. Seizing this opportunity to counterattack, Isagi hits a cross downfield to Nagi. As the ball hangs in the air, Nagi notices Rin is maintaining the ideal distance to steal the ball. Instead, Nagi chooses to hit a one-touch pass into open area. Despite both Rin and Ryu's pursuit, Shigiri's speed enables him to reach the ball first, bagging the first goal of the match. The game restarts and Bashira squares off against Isagi, but Baro's loud shout draws his attention. Seizing the opportunity, Isagi tries to snatch the ball only to find Bashira has already kicked it to Ryu with a no-look pass. Shigiri attempts to stop Ryu, but the latter's extreme reach allows him to claim the ball first. Ryu passes to Tokimitsu, who easily maintains his position despite a physical confrontation with Baro, and passes the ball to Rin. Nagi lunges in for a tackle, only to be deceived by Rin's feint. Evading more players, Rin scores goal and commends Isagi for finally using his eyes, but deems his play to still be half-baked. The game resumes yet again with Shigiri making a break on the side. He notices Isagi emerging from a blind spot and attempts to pass the ball, but Rin intervenes and passes to Bashira. Inspired by the opposing team's plays, Bashira executes a deceptive pass. Initially resembling a shot, the backspin on the ball turns it into a long pass which is aimed at Ryu. Leaping high into the air, Ryu scores with a header. With Nagi's competitive spirit flaring, he rushes forward between Rin and Isagi to receive a pass from Shigiri. Rin immediately jumps to defend when Nagi allows the ball to slip through his legs and run toward the goal. The loose ball ultimately reaches Isagi, who promptly passes it back to Nagi, who decides to feign a shot. With Rin now overextended and the ball hanging still in the air, Nagi both shoots and scores, impressing everyone. Rin, now fired up, hits a superb backspin pass to Tokimitsu before repositioning to receive a return pass, which he immediately forwards to Ryu. Ryu passes back to the perfectly repositioned Rin, who skillfully evades Nagi with a roulette and sends the ball to Bashira. Completely free, Bashira scores, giving his team a 3-for-2 lead. Isagi starts off the next round by passing to Shigiri immediately, who then passes to Nagi when Rin suddenly blocks his path. As Bashira's eyes follow the ball, Isagi slips into the blind spot, making a run for the goal. Just as he appears to have freed himself and received the ball from Nagi, Rin materializes, putting Isagi on the back foot due to his superior physicality. In that crucial moment, Baro snatches possession away from Isagi, shocking Rin, who did not anticipate someone stealing the ball from their own teammate. Thanks to Rin's slow response, Baro scores, and Isagi realizes the key to defeating Rin is to play in a manner he won't expect. Isagi thus asks Shigiri to use his speed and apply pressure to whoever's in possession of the ball, before Rin restarts the match by passing to Bashira, who is immediately covered by Shigiri. Bashira dribbles past the quick Shigiri, only to be met by Isagi. Just as he barely manages to pass Isagi, Baro emerges, stealing the ball. Baro skillfully maneuvers past Tokimitsu with a chop feint, but Rin catches up and clears the ball out the field. Witnessing Isagi and Rin battling in a way he can scarcely comprehend, Bashira becomes joyful after finally experiencing the type of football he'd always aspired to play. As the match continues voraciously, both Isagi and Rin, focused on each other, rush past Bashira, as if he didn't plainly even exist. Bashira is faced with the realization that although he has finally found the monsters he was looking for, he isn't good enough to play in their realm. Now with fatigue setting in, Rin starts passing the ball to the tireless Tokimitsu. Together they manage to penetrate defense, but just as Tokimitsu's about to score, he's tackled by both Shigiri and Baro, resulting in yellow cards for the both of them. Rin takes the free kick, hitting a sublime topspin shot which sails just over Isagi's head before dipping downward, finding the back of the net. With only one goal away from perhaps another loss, Isagi manages to cluster most of the players on one side of the field before hitting a cross to Shigiri. While everyone scrambles to reposition in front of the goal, Isagi cleverly picks a moment of invisibility in Rin's vision and makes a diagonal run toward the goalpost. Shigiri sends the pass, but Isagi's attempt at a direct shot is foiled by Rin. Predicting Rin would be on the lookout to block a direct shot, Isagi misdirects him and uses an unexpected backheel shot to score. With the match reaching peak intensity, Bashira's mind is still preoccupied with the knowledge that he lacks the ego needed to catch up to Isagi and Rin. With his thoughts in a jumbled mess, Ryu passes him the ball, which he easily loses to Shigiri. Nagi notices Bashira's unusual behavior and asks if he's intentionally throwing the game because he believes he'll be selected either way. Nagi calls Bashira useless in his current state, telling him Rin would be a much better candidate. With the series of passes, Team White manages to pass the ball to Isagi in front of the goal, only for his direct shot to be thwarted by a spectacular save from Rin. The ball rebounds to Bashira, who seizes possession with a vengeance. He realizes that his subconscious dependence on his monster prevented him from finding his own voice. Thus, finally breaking free from his dependency, Bashira dribbles past Isagi's defense with a nutmeg. Shigiri intervenes, but Bashira rejects the monster's suggestion to pass to Ryu and instead maneuvers past the defense, again using nutmegs. Nagi confronts Bashira head-on, while Shigiri and Baro close in on him from behind. Rin and Isagi anticipate a pass from Bashira and position themselves accordingly. To everyone's surprise, Bashira demonstrates exceptional skill and evades all three defenders at the same time. Isagi, who knows Bashira better than the rest, notices his complete shift in attitude and realizes he won't pass to anyone. Just as Bashira skirts past the defense and takes a shot on goal, Isagi appears and puts his leg out, blocking the shot. Despite Isagi's exceptional performance, the loose ball lands before Rin to everyone's shock, who scores the winning goal. While Team White look on in disbelief, the relief members of Team Red discuss who to choose next. Rin silences the debate, asserting solely he can choose the next member. Recognizing that luck was the only reason he won today, Rin accepts defeat and declares that he now has one more person he needs to crush, and picks Isagi. After bidding farewell to the remaining members of Team White, Isagi joins his new team as they pass through the winner's tunnel into a room where they're briefed by Ego on the upcoming third selection. The third selection is revealed to be a 5 versus 5 against the world's top players, scheduled for the following day. They gather in their room to watch a video introducing their formidable opponents: Silva from Brazil, Pablo from Argentina, Blake from England, Luna from Spain, and Julian Loki, a 17-year-old member of the French national team. The following day, they meet the World 5 on the pitch. The elite stars appear completely unserious and make fun of the young players, causing Rin, the sole member of the Blue Lock team, who is fluent in English, to respond in kind.
I'm gonna crush you.
Luna intervenes, separating the two groups, and identifies Rin as Sai Itoshi's little brother. He compliments Rin by saying that Sai's brother must be very talented, which serves to worsen Rin's mood. The next game commences with Bashira skillfully managing to dribble the ball past Pablo.
Good spin.
Izagi positions himself for a potential pass, only for Loki to emerge out of nowhere and block his path. Instead, Bashira makes a pass which flies behind Loki to Rin, resulting in the first goal of the match, eliciting smiles from the World 5. With the ball now at Loki's feet, the World 5 start their counterattack. In a sudden burst of speed, Loki effortlessly evades nearly the entire Blue Lock team. Rin attempts to intercept, but the French prodigy commends his foresight before simply accelerating even faster, effortlessly reaching the net and scoring. During the subsequent kickoff, Rin gets the ball and is immediately marked by Loki. As he hesitates, Luna, exploiting Rin's wariness, seizes the ball from behind. The ball is quickly passed from player to player, with the World 5 easily dominating Blue Lock in their respective strengths. The Blue Lock team can only look on in disbelief as the World 5 effortlessly score goal after goal, putting the disparity between the two sides on full display, quickly finishing the match at 5-1. As they exit the field, the international elites console the defeated team, reminding them not to be disheartened by the outcome, since victory had been impossible to begin with. Meanwhile, during a Japanese football union meeting, management learns Ego is paying each World 5 player 100 million yen for their services. Now fed up with Ego's audaciousness and the absence of tangible results, they inform him the Blue Lock project will be cancelled effective immediately. Ego confidently asserts that if the results are what they are after, then he will demonstrate results in a match which will transform Japanese football. Now in the team's break room, the group sit and reflect on the loss. Although they were badly defeated, they all agree that by playing the elites face-to-face after spending their entire lives watching them through a simple screen, they're finally starting to see themselves as one day playing at that exact level. Time passes, and the team takes English lessons while awaiting further instructions from Ego.
Wednesday the taco.
Finally, they hear an announcement revealing the conclusion of the second selection. Out of the 300 original players in Blue Lock, 265 have all been eliminated, leaving but 7 teams of 5 players advancing to the third selection, where they all played and lost to the World 5 team. All who remain are instructed to gather in the central joint room. As Isagi's team, whom had been the first to clear the second selection, enter the central joint room, they are followed by the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth teams. With both Ryo and Kunigami still missing, Isagi and Nagi wait for the last team to appear, certain they must be in it. The 7th team finally emerges, with Igarashi of all people leading the group. Accompanying him are 2 new faces, and Ryo. Nagi relaxes upon seeing Ryo, but Shigiri and Isagi focus on the last player. To their astonishment, it's someone named Ryusei Shido. Isagi struggles to accept that Kunigami had been eliminated, but Shido bluntly states that not only is it true, he had been the one responsible for it. Shido acknowledges Kunigami's exceptional physique and virtuous character, but emphasizes that on the soccer field being a good person is worthless. Isagi defends his friend, but the blonde striker dismisses him, and even attempts to physically attack Isagi before Ego shows up on screen, which diffuses the tension. Ego informs them that their careers, along with the Blue Lock program, are in serious jeopardy. He reveals the board members' intention of shutting down the program and declares his proposed alternative. 3 weeks from now, Japan's under-20 team will play against 11 of the best players from Blue Lock. Should they emerge victorious, they will usurp their rivals and become Japan's new under-20 team. Since their team is a haphazard collection of strikers, the board members readily agreed. To ensure victory with absolute certainty, they've also made a late addition to the under-20 team, the 18-year-old midfielder Sai Itoshi. Asking the players if they feel frustrated at being underestimated or if they burn with excitement to prove themselves, Ego expresses his personal belief that they already possess the ability to overthrow Japanese football. He tells them to seize this opportunity and usher in a new era.